What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Bro Tech Gaming Podcast. My name is Carlos, and we got a special guest with us. His name is Giovanni. What's up, Gio?
Hey, Carlos. Nice to be on the show. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being a guest on here. So how did you wake up? I know we did a little bit of drinking last night.
So I woke up fantastic this morning. It's about 6:30. I'm like, man, no hangover, no nothing from my one and a half shots. So life's great. How'd you wake up?
It was kind of terrible. I wasn't hungover. I was more hungover on Saturday than I was today. It was weird because I had way more shots than I didn't have any shots on Friday, but I felt like I drank more last night just in general than I did Friday, and I woke up a little bit better, so it wasn't that bad. The dog was barking because she wanted to go out, she wanted to get fed, and I don't even remember like waking up to let her out. It was that bad, so I'll let her out and I'll go like right back to sleep. I was out of it, but yeah, it was a fun night. You know, we celebrated mom's birthday. We celebrated Father's Day all in one little barbecue with the families. It was good times. Good times. After party over at Christian's house. It's pretty fun. I'm not good at that spoons game, man. I'm not good at it anymore.
See, all you need is just some practice. I mean, gotta watch them spoons. You don't. The point of the game is not to look at the cards. Just pretend you're playing and just watch the spoons. That's the key.
Yeah, I think that's where I was messing up because I was too focused on the cards and I wasn't looking at the spoons. So that's how I was losing every time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Gotta be quick.
Yeah, I know that for next time. All right. Let's see. We can get into our first topic, the one that we're going to talk about. So a lot of drama has been going on with Nickmercs versus Call of Duty. Kind of stemmed from him watching a video of some parents out in Glendale fighting in front of a school, and his response, well, not really response, but his statement for that was just, leave the kids alone. That's the real issue. And a lot of people, a lot of like news outlets, a lot of like journalists, they kind of ran with that and spun a whole different kind of picture other than what he was talking about, because he actually came out and made two videos already to clarify like what he meant. A lot of the news were saying that he was like anti gay, anti everything, and that's not really what he said. He just, wants, from what I got, I think he just wants the schools to leave the kids alone when it comes to talking to that, talking to them about that kind of stuff. But what did you think about that?
I think, I mean, obviously, if he wasn't tied to Activision and didn't have the skins and stuff, then it would just be like a non-topic. But the fact of the matter is that since he has like tied to all those things in the company, it's whatever he says gets amplified because at the end of the day, people are going to look at that and be like, oh, okay, this guy is saying this stuff depending on what he said. And then Activision's like, oh, okay, well, we think he said this, this is reality. At the end of the day, it's all PR. And so with him and his opinion, it's it's rough because at the end of the day, a lot of streamers they want to be apolitical as much as possible, but when you come out one way or the other, it definitely snowballs quickly, and then that's where you get to these points where like you get your skins taken out, you gotta make videos, and you gotta talk about your opinions and stuff, and it's just a messy situation.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of his like streamer friends kind of felt the effects too because Dr. Disrespect he uninstalled the game. I think Tim the Tatman kind of uninstalled the game. I haven't watched him do it like specifically on stream or anything, but I think I just read somewhere that he did. And then Tim the Tatman asked to take off his skin also from the store. So now both of the skins are gone, which I think is gonna teach like Call of Duty a lesson in doing that. I don't think they're ever gonna have another streamer come out with the skin again because of this. And I mean, nobody could have predicted that this could have happened. I think it's better than this happening than something like worse happening. You know, with all the stuff going on, there's like sexual accusations going out there, like from Neymar from the Black Panther. He's getting dragged into that too. What was the dude from Ant Man? The uh, it wasn't sexual assault, but it was like a domestic thing that he's dealing with now. Um, but yeah, he's dealing with that, so it's kind of, you can't really hide from it. Um, and then I think the way that Call of Duty addressed it was kind of bad. They have everybody ratioing them, and on Twitter and pretty much everything. Um, but yeah, it's a unfortunate situation. But yeah, I don't want to like go into the politics of it. Don't want to choose sides on it. Just here to tell you guys what's going on with that. But yeah, so Nickmercs took off like a week, and then just today he came out, made another video about it, just saying like he had friends and everybody hitting him up, saying like, hey, I support you, but I can't publicly tell you that I support you. So he said that he was getting kind of annoyed because of how many people were hitting him up saying like, hey, I support you, but just keep it on the down low. So yeah, so moving on. Unless you have anything else to add to that.
Yeah, just a little bit. I think it's very similar to like the Joe Morant situation with him like flashing the gun again. And it's crazy because the NBA just came out, well, the commissioner came out with his punishment, which is going to be about 25 games off. And it's kind of a similar situation where like some people are coming out and saying, hey, he didn't break a law, he didn't do anything illegal. But the fact of the matter is that it's all publicity and stuff. And like people can have their opinions, do these things, but if they do something against the image, it always comes back to the image. And so it's so easy to just mess up. But in Joe Morant's style, man, he messed up again. I got no hard feelings on him.
Yeah, especially like somebody that's a public figure like that, to where you have millions of people, millions of kids looking up to you, and they're gonna emulate every move that you make. Like, I understand it's not a good image for the NBA, and like John Morant should be smart enough to know that, and the fact that he's not, I feel like it kind of deserves it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know.
All right, so moving on. I had asked you to look up one of these things that's going on with Microsoft and trying to buy Activision. I know a little bit about it, but I kind of figured that you were gonna do like a deep dive into it and probably teach me some stuff on it. So US blocks Microsoft from buying Activision. I know a lot of, not all of them, you said, but a lot of the other countries have already okayed it, and now I think the US is kind of like a major roadblock in this. What are your thoughts on that?
So yeah, this deal was announced last year. The FTC, or the Federal Trade Commission, came in this week saying, "All right, nope, we're stopping this deal." And they haven't stopped it, but they put an injunction to delay it because if you think about it, you got Activision, major game provider, and you got Microsoft, one of the major gaming companies. It's like people will come to the conclusion that they might come together, they might mess with Sony, they might do something to raise prices or just make the market unfair. And interestingly enough, as you mentioned, in the UK, they also blocked this deal, but they're trying to speed it up in one country and another country in order to get it passed. And so it's just this crazy corporation economics in the background trying to get together and make this deal happen. And over here, the FTC is like, nah, it's not going to happen. So at the moment, it's just court battle, court battle. Who knows? Sometimes the FTC wins in these cases, sometimes they don't. Uh, I don't know. What do you think will happen if it does pass and they do merge?
So I've heard about like Sony talking about how they don't want that to happen because Activision has the rights to Call of Duty, and Call of Duty is one of the biggest franchises on both platforms. So I kind of sympathize with Sony because they don't want to lose that, because Microsoft can turn around and be like, it's not your game anymore. We're not sharing, and Sony's gonna lose a lot of money when it comes down to that. So I don't know. I know Microsoft came out and said like that's not going to happen. Like obviously we're not trying to lose money by not having it on PlayStation, but I think Sony just doesn't trust them at all. So I think Sony's trying to do everything they can to make it not happen. I personally, I don't know. It's kind of hard to side with either one of them, because I feel like Microsoft is kind of being greedy, and Sony is just trying to have things stay the way they are. So I guess I would kind of side with Sony, and having it not go through. I feel like it's been okay for as long as it has been. So I don't think there's any need for Microsoft just to like gobble up all these other companies. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this, and when kind of from the merger side, like if Microsoft took Activision over, it would make no sense for Activision to stop selling to Sony because they themselves would start losing money from that. And it to me it doesn't make sense. And from like the company standpoint, from like developer standpoint, you merge Activision and Microsoft, then it's like you're going to condense teams, you're going to lose talent. It's going to be kind of consolidated, and I don't think that's what gaming needs right now. I think gaming needs more companies, not fewer companies.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I guess we're both saying it's kind of bad for business.
Yeah, but I mean, who knows? I mean, thinking on the flip side, what if they did come together and just like try to pump out the most amazing games ever? Like, you never know. Everything's what if until we see what actually happens.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if it does happen and you know what you said happens, I mean, it's going to be like a big W for gamers everywhere. And then if the opposite happens, you know, it's a big L for all of us because, well, I guess more for Sony people, like the Sony fanboys.
Yeah, I don't know. I think when Activision and Blizzard merged back then, I think rest in peace my StarCraft. But I think that's why one of the reasons why we don't have a StarCraft 3 is because just focus on what makes the most money, and my community don't make that much money.
Yeah, it's more towards like what, like Diablo, Overwatch, games like that.
Yeah, the big money makers and all you COD people out there.
I don't know. I don't play Call of Duty as much as I used to back in the day. I'm more of like an Apex. I played a little bit of Overwatch, Fortnite, some solo games. I've been trying to beat God of War, you know, like Last of Us, Uncharted. I'm all over the place when it comes to those. So, you have anything else you want to add to it, or we can move on?
Nah, we won't know what's gonna happen for like another 6 months. So podcast running until then, we'll have an update.
All right, yeah, we'll have a part two for sure. All right, so moving on. So we actually went to the movies to go watch this movie, Fast X, and your wife gave it a 10 out of 10. So I was kind of like more optimistic about it going into it. I'm like, okay, if she gave it a 10 out of 10, it's probably gonna be better than the last like four that they've come out with. And sadly, that was not the truth. I gave it like a really low grading just because I felt like that movie was kind of dumb. Um, like I talked to Sean about it on the last podcast, but the whole like Rome scene, it was like the first like 20-30 minutes of the movie. I felt like it was really good. They were doing like the Rocket League with the cars and the ball and everything. I thought that was pretty cool. It was pretty entertaining. But once it got past that, it was just characters not really doing anything because there's too many people in that movie now. Like certain characters were sent to other places and just didn't do anything, fighting for no reason. Um, I don't know, but what are your thoughts on the movie?
Yeah, it felt like it really felt like it was trying to be like an Avengers Endgame style, except without all the like cohesiveness. And yeah, it was everywhere. Jason Momoa's character is way too loony for me. Like, this is the last boss. This is the final person. I mean, come on, get someone a little more serious. And then when it was John Cena and the kid, I felt like it was like a new version, like the Spy Kids movie right here. It was not. Man, I have to turn my brain off for these movies, but this one I had to stay off a lot longer.
Yeah, I mean the movie was what, like 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours long. But honestly, it didn't feel that long because there was always something going on, even if it was kind of dumb. Um, and I'm not gonna lie, the last scene when they're on the dam and then they have the two like trucks coming towards each other, I really thought it was Optimus Prime. I was like, oh, like the crossover's here, it's happening. But no, they just crashed into each other. I was kind of disappointed. So I think I was explaining this to Christian on Friday about, so because I had seen a video on it and it kind of shed more light on it for me, because I was looking at it from a different perspective, and then I watched that video and I was like, oh yeah, it does make sense. So basically, what the guy was saying was that this was never Vin Diesel's franchise. This was Paul Walker's franchise. Because they had Paul Walker in the first one, and then they already signed him to do the second one. And then they asked Vin Diesel to come back and do the second one. He refused. So that's why they replaced him with Tyrese. So if you look at it from that way, from that point of view, these movies should have always focused around Paul Walker. And once, Paul Walker passed away, obviously I feel like Vin Diesel had already kind of taken it over from Paul Walker before that, but it like they were kind of still like neck and neck. It was like both of their movies. So once Paul Walker passed away, Vin Diesel obviously had to take over. And I don't know if he came up with the concept of just like, let's just go balls out, like let's go to space, let's do this, let's do that, like fuck physics, like let's just make cars like stop fire and stuff like that. But yeah, so once I watched that video and he kind of explained it like way better than I did, but it kind of made more sense on why I feel like this franchise, like I can't even say that it's failing because every movie still makes $1 billion, and like we're still watching them because we want to see how this is gonna end now that they said that it was gonna have two more movies. So like we're still intrigued, we're still going to the movies and watching it, we're still talking about it, but the end result is just like the movies are bad, and but we're still paying for it. So I think with that, like they're not going to change anything because they're still getting their money. We're still watching it. We're still talking about it, and it's just going to be one, loop, But I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I never thought about it that way. But like to your point of they're gonna keep making them, it's because they keep watching them. It's like Call of Duty. They're gonna keep making them. It's the same thing, rinse and repeat. New skin here, new map there. But yeah, it's they've honestly gone to every single aspect they could, minus A, Transformers, like you talked about, B, space travel. So either going forward or going back in time and like racing against dinosaurs, like no matter what, they're gonna make movies. And honestly, I feel like with having his kid there, they're setting it up. So he's gonna like that kid's gonna take over from there.
Yeah, that's true. And then, so I feel like Jason, what's his name?
Jason Statham.
Yeah, so Jason Statham came out in the movie, and he didn't really do much. Like he fought with Han a little bit, and then out of nowhere there was like 100 people in his room trying to kill both of them, and then like the other dudes are still like on the door trying to break into the door to go help them. It's just like how I don't know, like they don't hear like all the shooting and commotion going on inside. Well, anyway, so after all that happened, he kind of packed up his shit and was like, "All right, I gotta go save my mama," and he left. Like that was the only part that he had in the movie. So I'm thinking he's probably gonna have a spinoff where he has to go and save his mom, and then we have the after credit scene with The Rock, which I booed because I'm tired of The Rock, man. I'm tired of him. I didn't want him in the series anymore, and they brought him back because I guess they made up or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like Vin Diesel should have listened to the fans and like not put him back in there. Even if they did make up, just be like, yeah, he's not coming back because fans don't want him in there. We already have 30 people in this movie. Like, what is one more gonna do? But I think he's not gonna be in the movies anymore. He's gonna get his own spin-off movie, I guess, by himself. So that's one movie I don't have to watch without missing everybody else. But yeah, what did you think about the end credit scene?
Most amazing part ever. I think once I seen that, I was like, that's the 10 out of 10 Maria was talking about right there.
Yeah, his part was just so cheesy too, because he's on the phone, he's like, "You some bitch." I'm like, bro, like say it right, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of dumb. I'm happy he's gonna do his own spinoff, so I don't have to watch it, and I don't have to worry about him trying to take over the franchise that's already about to end. So anything else you want to add to that? How you feel about the movies?
I really hope Optimus Prime comes out now that you mentioned it, man. I think him and his evil twin right there just perfect. And I don't know where Goku comes out with Super Saiyan. Just I think we're pushing this thing to new heights now. Got to talk to the directors.
Yeah, I'm sure John Cena is gonna get cloned somehow. He's gonna come back because he he got into a car accident and they didn't show him anymore, so they want us to assume that he dies, but like we already know nobody dies in this series. Like nobody dies. Like even the bad guys don't die, and they just become part of the family, and they're at the barbecue at the end of the movie. So that's what I'm guessing. Dante's gonna be at the barbecue at the end of at the end of the trilogy. Everyone's gonna be happy go lucky. Um, yeah. So there's another thing. So they never really said what happened with Brian. So in the movie world, he's still alive, and he's just watching his kids because they had to have Mia come out and have like a part in the movie because she got to get paid too. So she was basically just babysitting the kid, and then everybody came in, and then there was a part where um, she looks into like the hallway, and like the dudes get like thrown into the wall. So I was like, oh, is that like Paul Walker in there? Because she was smiling, and I was like, okay, maybe that's Paul Walker, but they're not going to show him. Maybe he just like got in the car and like left or something. But like John Cena pops out of nowhere, and I was like, damn it. And then he does like his finishing move, and the dude like goes through the floor, and yeah. But anyways, so yeah, so they haven't really said what happened with Paul Walker. He's just not there, but he's there. He's just not there. I kind of wish that they would not like dangle that in front of us because I would have been happy to see him. Like he does come out in the beginning of the movie, but it's kind of like a flashback to five, to when they were like running around with the safe. So I was like, okay, like maybe that's what they were talking about, how he's in Fast 10, but he's not really in it, and I would have been okay with that. But yeah, so I mean, what do you think about them still having Paul Walker alive in the movies but not on screen?
Yeah, that was really a missed opportunity right there. Like, at least I'm gonna do something cool, not like, all right, let's get down, let's save these people, and that's it, go away. Like, gonna go to lunch, I'm gonna clock out for the day after that. Like, come on, like, at least like have him like calling in saying, hey, this is a situation in the U.S. What are you guys doing out there in Portugal or Spain or whatever? It's like, it's this, like you said, it's like almost no need. Either you have them like have more of an impact or don't. Don't do this like kind of half measure thing where you're just kind of halfway there. It really wasn't that useful.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's all I had to talk about Fast X. I feel like I could still do like a whole hour talking about. I mean, there's so much happened in that movie. There's still so much that we talked about, like new old people coming back that don't need to come back. The one with the submarine, um, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm just waiting till next year till we get the next one.
It there's one last thing about that movie that I thought was just like made no sense. And it's the part where like John Cena and the kid they go to like I don't know, Bakersfield Regional Airport, hop on the plane, and then jump into a little plane and then somehow end up in Europe. Like, where the hell was that plane flying to for it to like get that far? And that mini plane did not have enough. I know that mini plane did not have enough fuel to get to Europe. I'm like, there's no way. Like,
It was
I
a
was like,
glider.
yeah, it's a glider, but that thing's not going to get across the Atlantic. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's unlimited wind out there. They just like shoom shoom shoom, like Mario with his cape.
Yeah, I don't know. I did, from all, of course, the physics defining things. For me, I'm like, man, that makes no sense. Like, nah, I'm not buying that part.
All right. Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in that movie that nobody buys. That was the one thing that ticked you off, though.
Yeah, that I had my analytical face right there. I'm like, nah, that ain't right.
All right, all right. Okay, so moving on, we're gonna talk about the NBA Finals. They're done, over with. Um, the champs, the Nuggets, beat our Lakers. Pretty much swept them. They beat Miami 4-1. I was actually surprised Miami won that one game because I mean, you take out that one game, they pretty much got swept too. I felt like this year's finals were very boring. It was very lackluster. There were no moments that popped out for me. Jokic is Jokic and Murray. Um, I felt like Miami didn't really have that supporting cast around Jimmy Butler. I'm surprised they even made it to the finals. But then, like you think about it, like the East is not that strong, I guess. and then the Nuggets are just way too overpowering. Like how do you guard the Joker? Like you guard him like underneath the basket, and he's still shooting 3 pointers and making them with like ease. So I don't know. I feel like teams in the West are gonna start moving around their team just to beat the Nuggets now. Like the Nuggets, the Suns. I think Golden State's. I think their dynasty is done. Draymond Green just announced that he's a free agent, so that's another piece of their puzzle that's going to be missing. But yeah, I mean, what did you think about the NBA Finals?
I don't know. I was very disappointed, but I was disappointed because all the like radio I listened to and stuff, they're all right, and I didn't want them to be right. Everyone's like, there was no one that was willing to go on air and say, "Yeah, the Heat got this." Nah, everyone's like 5, 6, 4, and it's just kind of depressing because it's like the Heat, they go through this monster of a series with the Celtics, almost make history in allowing the Celtics to win, but they go all the way to Game 7. Whereas Nuggets, they're chilling. They're chilling since like January. Feels like when they after they swept the Lakers. So they had all this time to heal. The Heat, they're just getting dragged, and yeah, it's I don't know. Jimmy Butler, he's a great player, he's an amazing player, but you can see like how tired he was, just worn out from all those games. By the time he gets there against the Nuggets, it just wasn't a chance. I think the first game they lost by like over 20 points, and yeah, I'm like everyone's right. Like I didn't want them to be right, but this isn't going to be a fun series.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me. Just from that first game, you're just like you could see how overpowered they were, and I like I said, I was surprised that the Miami won that one game. But yeah, so Miami did go into a game 7. Nuggets swept the Lakers, so Miami had to play 3 more games than the Nuggets did. So I had mentioned it before. They got all that rest, and it I mean, no, like the athletes won't say it, but I'm sure it definitely affected them in the long run. Just because I feel like their stamina was really low going into that final series. But yeah, so kind of looking forward to next year to see what the Lakers do on the off season. I I feel like they just need like a really good point guard, and they need to start setting up plays. Before the 8 seconds shot clock is almost done, because they walk the ball up there so slow. They like stand at the 3 point line, staring at the clock, and then 8 seconds left. Then they want to run a play. It's like I don't know. You guys need to run around more, get the opposing team more tired or something. Do something. Like what you guys are doing isn't working. And LeBron, I mean, his dude's gonna be a year older. AD is gonna be a year older. He's gonna be a little bit more fragile. Um, I do like a lot of the core players or like the younger players that we have. Um, I can't think of his name, but the white boy, the only white boy on the team.
Oh, Austin Reeves.
Yeah, so Austin Reeves, I felt like he was really good. He had moments where he did really good, and then he also had moments where he like was garbage. So he just needs to be a little bit more consistent, and I feel like he's gonna have a really good career. And you never know, man. We might throw him some money his way. But yeah. So are you looking forward to anything on the off season?
I'm really looking forward to seeing this team like come together more and stuff because in reality, this team got better after we finally got rid of Russell Westbrook. And I'm not even gonna pretend like I know things. I'm the ultimate bandwagon fan. I didn't start watching till the playoffs, but like they were a better team. So I hope with this time in the off season, like you said, they get better. Hey, maybe they get Chris Paul, add another guy, make it the Expendables again. But who knows? I think with the right people, they'll definitely get better. But get better as in compete with the Nuggets, compete with the Suns. Man, it's gonna be tough out there, and I have high hopes. But unless they make the playoffs, this bandwagon fan probably won't watch it too much.
Yeah, for sure. I think Chris Paul just went to the Wizards, so he's off the table. I
Oh,
think it was actually today that he went to the Wizards.
all right. Hey, Kawhi, if you're listening to this, we would appreciate you coming to the Lakers. I know you went to the Clippers, but hey, we'll still welcome you in the other side of Los Angeles.
Nah, I mean that dude's that fool's more injury prone than AD is. If you look at them side by side, Kawhi is actually hurt more than AD, but AD gets all the shit like talking.
But I think if you just like manage the injuries, all right, one gets injured this part of the season, the other gets injured this part of the season, we can make it work.
Yeah, they just fill in for each other. That would be funny. I mean, a waste of money, but I mean, if money wasn't an option, then yeah, that would be a good idea.
Hey, whatever gets us past Celtics and championships, that's all that matters.
Yeah, for sure. Um, all right. That's all the topics I had to talk about. I don't know if there's anything else that you want to throw out there.
Nah, I got nothing. I mean, we go back to Fast 10, but I think there's another episode for that.
Yeah, all right, for sure. All right, so we can wrap this one up. Thank you again for coming on the podcast and chopping it up with me. Talking about some Fast X and how bad it was. Pretty fun. So yeah, so my name is Carlos. This is my brother Gio. Thank you again for coming out and talking with me. Hope to have you on here back on here again soon. And thank you guys for watching. Peace out.